Hello, everyone. My name is Rocio Alvarado. This is my presentation for the individualized teaching and learning. So let's get started. So my table of contents I have laid out here. The first thing I'll be talking about is the introduction, inclusion, and ECE. The second thing I'm talking about is motivation, the problem I am solving. The third thing I'm talking about is my focus child, Nikhil. Fourth thing is solutions. Fifth is conclusion. And sixth are future directions. So inclusion in an ECE setting. I remember that we went over this in the beginning of our lesson and class altogether. This was in Module 1. So this is the picture that we were shown. It talks about highly individualized teaching and learning, implementing research-based curriculum and teaching practices, nurturing responsive and effective interactions and engaging environments, screening and ongoing child assessment, and in the middle it has parent and family engagement. So all of these are things that will help the child in an ECE setting. And in the end, we have to also talk directly to the parent or guardian and family that are a huge part of a child's education at home, because half the time the child is at home and the other half of the time they're at school. So for sure, communicating with the parents is definitely key, which is why they're in the middle. And my next slide. So inclusion in the ECE continued. We talked about the framework for effective practice, and I wanted to put in my own words what the framework looks like in the classroom. So foundation in the classroom. As the teacher, you engage with each and every student. This helps connect with them, and through each enriching interaction, you build a bond with the student while also learning more about your student's needs and learning style. The first pillar in the classroom, teaching the children from curriculum that was created best for their age and that has been researched to help them grow. As the teachers, you need to implement the curriculum and teach it in a way the children will understand and learn. The second pillar in the classroom is to get a better picture of where your students' knowledge comes from, and you assess your students to see in detail which goals have been met and which have not been met. Then we have Ruth. When you're looking at the assessments or other students themselves, you may see some struggles in particular areas. Connect with the student and find solutions that will help them achieve those goals they are struggling in. And then we have Center. A child's home life is as important as their school life. Communicate with the children's parents and guardians on their needs and provide solutions that could help the student at home in their home life so they can grow with knowledge at home with their families as well. So this is my motivation. Why is it important? So I've always heard and, read that ages birth to 5 years are the most critical ages where the children are learning and grasping absolutely everything around them. As teachers, we are given the gift of teaching children in these prime years where our teachings will have a great influence as they grow, especially in those early ages of birth to 5 years. Sometimes parents are at a loss of how to educate their children at home or how to better help them. And we as their teachers can help parents and communicate with them on their child's needs and where they are academically. The children are all unique and have different learning styles, disabilities, needs, and so on. Many more things. Children rely on their teachers to help them be successful in their young age, and we have the resources, patience, love, and kindness students need to feel and be successful. So going into my focus child, Nikhil. So my case study was mostly on Nikhil and his strengths. He is very social, friendly and outgoing. He listens to directions and follows safety rules in the classroom. He is also very creative. He definitely needs help memorizing. His writing skills need improvement, and participation is low when it comes to me teaching the curriculum to the kids. And Nikhil is someone I usually have to bring to the front. That way he's paying attention. So my 3 big goals for Nikhil. I want him to pay attention more and get less distracted. I want him memorizing what was learned for a longer span of time. He tends to forget things very easily. And I want him to participate and have an original guess or answer. He'll go into this thing where he won't say a thing. He wants me as a teacher to help him, or the kids to help him, but I want him to try and guess first, or at least try and put an effort instead of waiting for somebody to help him. That way he has that start in actually saying something original that comes from him. My solutions to these things, this is my breakdown. This is, for example, a huge thing that I've been working with Nikhil is the days of the week. I teach preschool, so Nikhil is 4 years old going on to 5. And most of my kids know the days of the week, but Nikhil does not. Every day we go over it. Every morning the kids talk about the days of the week throughout the day. They have Spanish on Thursdays where the teacher talks about the days of the week, but Nikhil somehow, this is the 3rd month I have Nikhil, and it somehow hasn't stuck to him. So I chose, the goal is to memorize the days of the week. And here's my breakdown for that. Child does not know days of the week on their own and often needs help from other friends and teacher. Next thing I would do, sing along with teacher and friends the days of the week song for memorization. The next step would be sings on their own the days of the week from memorization. The next step would be without singing tells me the days of the week from memorization, and goal memorizes the days of the week. So I broke down, for example, this small goal that I have been working with him. Solutions with environmental support. I can create for Nikhil a fun learning space where the child is pumped and excited to participate. Nikhil can listen for the most part, but maybe if somehow I create the space, a more fun way for him to really just want to participate in, then I think that would influence him more to, join the group as we all talk about whatever activity that we're talking about. A second environmental support would be making multiple teaching spaces where the teacher can modify what is being taught in a fun way for the child. So usually I have all of us gathered at the carpet when it comes to teaching the curriculum. And maybe I can go ahead and also move into different spaces. Maybe for read together, I could actually go to the reading corner, because the kids have a reading corner and they use it for their station time to go read there. But maybe, I should start going to the reading corner and read a book, read the read together activity there and do the activity there. That way, maybe that's more funner for Nikhil if I'm moving around the classroom in a fun way and implementing the curriculum according to where I'm at in the classroom. So these are my solutions for environmental support. Curriculum modifications. The child learns with time, repeating throughout the day and the week. The goal you are wanting to achieve with the child will help with memorizing the material. Number 2, have a helping student who knows the material be partnered with the child so that the learning child is more motivated to achieve the goal, creating peer-supported teaching. And number 3, creative methods like song or art can better help the child learn the material depending on their individual way to understand the information. Lessons learned and my conclusion, what was difficult. I think what was difficult for me was to find what works for Nikhil. Sometimes it's hard for me to really, I guess I have to spend more time with my students as an individual. And I've been with Nikhil individually before, but I feel like I need to put more time into it. And that can be difficult, especially with a busy day with curriculum and other activities that I have to do on my own. Number 2, what do you wish you could have done or done differently? Like stated previous, maybe spent more individual time with Nikhil or any individual student who needed a different teaching approach. How could my learning be extended? What's next? I could always modify the curriculum. And once Nikhil understands what the goal is, I could always take it to another step. For example, have him write down the days of the week. Now that we were talking about the days of the week, have him write down the days of the week, or write down what letters the days of the week starts with, That way we're talking more about the topic, but in a different way, in a writing the letters kind of way. And number 4, are there any interesting problems or questions that resulted from my work? The only thing I found really interesting was just breaking down. I never really thought about breaking down a goal. Little by little, bit by bit, really thinking, how does that child even get there in the first place? I thought that was very interesting when it came to finding solutions to achieving goals. So I think that was pretty interesting and straightforward. Future directions. I will definitely take more focus on the environmental support of the child. I feel like I want to find more research on environmental support to help my focused child and any other child when it comes to their needs. I will break down goals to better teach the children. I loved having learned that in this class. I loved breaking down that goal, and I'm going to do it so much more with my other children as well. I will use peer support to help with the children's learning. I've seen that peer support is a huge help for my kids. There are a couple of kids who just have everything jotted down to the T, and just pairing them up with these kids will definitely help them, especially since, they're friends and everything, and it'll just motivate them more to get closer to that goal. Adding more ways to be creative with the curriculum is something I want to do, and communicating with parents is a big thing I want to work on as well. Communicating with them more on their child's needs and learning experiences at home. Parents are usually just coming in and out, dropping off kids and picking up kids and grabbing their kids and leaving. And sometimes it's hard to communicate with parents, but I know this is something I would love to work on. And that way I can have more insight on how the child is doing and learning at home. And this is it for my presentation. Thank you so much for listening to me.